we go. I think we're going to be good now. So sorry about that. Again, I have a new setup. I don't know if anybody can read my lips about what I was saying before. Okay, so creating monsters is saying I can't hear you. So hopefully I fixed that. If you can hear me now, let me know. That's why I always do an audio and video check at the beginning of a stream. As I was mentioning before, which nobody heard. A few things. One is like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all the internet things. And if you have questions, you can ask them during the stream. And if you have questions and you're watching this after the fact, leave your questions in the comments and we will get back to you. Okay, and then the other thing that I also wanted to mention is that today is going to be a little bit of a different thing. I've got a new setup. When I went to the ZBrush Summit, they had a Sense Labs display that I was working on when I was demoing at the Maxon booth, and I really liked it, so I'm using one now. So I have one of these gloves on, and I am using a display tablet, so my setup is a little bit different. You might see me not be as fast as I usually am, which might work out to your advantage. But it's really kind of neat to be working with a pen display. It's not something that I used before. I didn't have an issue disassociating with the tablet and the screen. But working on a pen display definitely is kind of cool, and I kind of made the plunge, and I'm working on a Sense Labs Pen Display 24. All right, so with that out of the way, hey, good to see you too, Creating Monsters. Hello, Backstorm, and hello, Derek. I'm glad you are joining the stream. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I made a few small changes since we saw this guy last. If you don't remember, and I can probably show it to you in the promo image here, that I used to have this kind of these two things over here protruding from the side, and I decided to separate those out for now, or not have them for the time being. And so I'm kind of sticking more to the reference that I have, and so those are not going to be there. And my UI is ever changing, so this is a little bit different from last time, I think. So I'm basically always making alterations to it. As I mentioned before, it's something that I do all the time. I've got, I think, well, maybe it should be over 100 different configurations by now. So that's why I don't give my UI away, because it's always changing, and I always recommend people build their own. Okay, with that said, hey, Ghazi D, let's go ahead and continue with this. So here I've just basically done my thing where I mask a certain area, and so let me just go to the helmet here and solo it out. And you can see here that, oh, I guess the mask is, I deleted the mask, but basically I just use a mask, and I use my masking brush for it, which hopefully is going to be here somewhere. AK mask, yep. Which is just this mask that, I guess not. Did that not load correctly? Let's see one more time. Oh, this is the mixed stamp one. This is not the masking. Where are you? No, that's not it either. It's in my UI, but it's down here. And so I'm going to try and maybe lift this up. Here we go. It's right there. And bring this back down. And by the way I'm doing this is if you hold Control, usually I work on a 4K screen, but in this case, when I stream, I do a 1080p display. So here we go. Did it not take? I guess not. It's still a mask pen. All right, let's try this one more time. I picked the wrong one, that's why. It's further down. Where are you? AK mask. There it is. Yep, that's what we want to use. And so we'll go back. And I could have recreated that mask brush. Basically, it's just the mask brush, the normal mask brush, but it's got the pressure sensitivity turned off, so it has kind of these sharper edges. So I basically did this and then used my handy dandy Extract Pro to extract those pieces that are on top, this one and this one. Again, I'm just trying to kind of match what is in the reference, which is an image generated by AI, and we're trying to kind of take the best of what's there and do our own version of it. Okay, so another thing I want to do here is go ahead and use, I want to kind of create a area on this hat where there are these kind of tubes on the top. And again, I'm trying to interpret what the AI has done. That's one of the problems with AI is that it does certain things in such a way where you kind of don't know the logic is behind it. I mean, it looks cool, but to kind of make sense of it is a little bit difficult. So I'm going to do this a little bit of a different way. I'm just going to mask a circle here, invert that mask. So these are the kinds of things I'm getting used to, is kind of the tap of the tablet here. And I just got this a couple of days ago, so I'm still kind of learning. But it's so nice to be able to be working on the screen. I really like it. And this display is worked out really nicely for me. Okay, and I'm just going to just use the scale to scale this up. And I don't know why it came out oval. I think maybe because I went out this way. So I think a better way to do this is maybe go here and go out this way and then rotate it and move it there. Here we go. That's kind of what I want, but maybe not so much. So I can just adjust it this way. I think this is kind of more of what it's like. And this is still a Dynamesh helmet, so I can just go ahead and re-Dynamesh it, not to get that stretching. And then I'm going to use the clip curve brush just to kind of get a straighter face on it. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's good this way. All right, and and of course I will retopo this later, but for now this works great. Okay, so somebody, he says, is 5 a.m. and he can't sleep. Timing is ideal for the stream. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. It's always great when you wake up in the middle of the night and there's something like a good movie or something to watch. It always is kind of a nice thing when that's the case. So thank you for watching my stream. All right, and I'm just going to indent this a little bit. Yeah, it's really sweet working on a pen display. I think I can already tell that I'm going to be liking doing this quite a bit. All right. So I'm just going to create a little bit of a lip thing here on this. So I'm just going to mask it. Oops. I think maybe I'll solo this for now. It's going to look horrible, but it'll work. Okay, just like that. And you guys can hear me okay. I know that my microphone's kind of, I guess I'll just move it a little bit more closer. All right. So what's been going on? Let's see. I didn't see the movie Creator. I wanted to see that. It's usually kind of in my wheelhouse of the type of movies I watch, but I didn't really get a chance to go. Work's been kind of crazy. But I was wondering if anybody here saw it and if they liked it. Okay, and I'm just going to Control-Alt-Click on here just to make that mask a little bit harder. And reduce the size of my brush. Like something made a stroke there that I didn't mean to. There we go. And what I want to do now is just invert this. Oops. And go over here and just expand it out a little bit. Like that. Again, I'm still getting used to the keyboard kind of being on the side and not in front of me. But again, it's all muscle memory, and I'm sure I'll be using this thing pretty efficiently in no time. I already feel pretty comfortable with it. It hasn't even been a week. All right, so there's that. And then let's see, what else do we need to do? Let's bring everybody back. Okay, that kind of looks neat. I kind of want it to be angled down a little bit more, so I'm just going to mask it. Let's see. And again, this is, hard surface design on a helmet, but I'm using a sculpting software, and it's really nice because I can do certain things that I would not be able to do if I was using modeling software or CAD software. I can be a lot more creative and be able to move a lot faster. Okay, so that's the piece I want to rotate in a bit. I kind of still need to get this tap working to the way I do it, so it's going to be one of the growing pains, but it seems like it's not that big of an issue. All right, so I'm just going to twist this in. I don't like this groove that it's creating, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. I think a good idea would have been to store a morph target before I did the rotation, so let's do that. Store a morph target, do that rotation, and let's make sure I like the rotation. Something like that. Okay, cool. And then I'm just going to use the morph brush to bring some of that back. Hopefully it'll work. Yep. Maybe a little bit too much, so I can just knock it back with smooth. Dynamesh it. Okay. And I don't think I need the morph target anymore. I'll delete it, Dynamesh it. Why is it complaining when I Dynamesh? I don't know why. It doesn't matter. Okay. And just smoothing that out, getting that lip the way I want it. Okay, so that's kind of cool. And I don't know if this is some sort of display or whatever, but it's in the concept, or it's in the reference, and I think I will use it. Okay, so creating monsters asking for me, the hard surface is one of the most difficult parts in ZBrush in terms of composition. What advice would you give me to create harmony in that mechanical chaos? I don't know if I got your question exactly. I mean, I do realize it's difficult. Most ZBrush users usually pick it up because they do organic work, but there's quite a few of us now that use it for hard surface stuff, and I know the transition could be difficult. So, I think you still have to be familiar with how things are made. I think that would help. So if you if you kind of study how things are made, take some hard surface things apart, like if you have an old computer or a radio or some sort of an old TV, something mechanical, always look at how things are made. I think that really helps with designing hard surface stuff. Definitely, I've done my share of taking things apart and looking at how they're made. Also watching YouTube videos of how they're made and trying to figure out how things work. And most importantly, you have to really think about how things are working. Once you figure that out, I think the rest is kind of just building it. It's also good to know how manufacturing works for hard surface stuff. I mean, nowadays with 3D printing, anything can be printed. So, if you look at kind of traditionally how things were made before, you know, how things are molded and poured and you know, lathes and mechanical things that basically build parts, you can get a good idea. I think I'm moving the thing underneath, and yeah, not what I intended to do. I kind of wanted to move to this part and fix this little bit over here. And this is going to have thickness, so I might as well just do it now. Go to geometry, dynamic subdiv, dynamic, not smooth but thick, and let's offset it. Let's get a little bit more thickness. I just want to make sure I'm going in the right direction. Maybe I'm not. Here we go. Now I am. So offset basically just says start from the beginning or the end. So I just want to have this thing have a little bit of thickness like that. Let's solo it out, see how much thickness we're getting. Maybe more. Let's go to about there. That's good. And then let's also give it some segments, maybe 3. That's going to be on the inside. And when we solo that out, I think that's good. Now what I want to do is make sure these edges are smooth. So I'm just basically hitting it with the smooth brush. Yeah, and that's fine. I think there's a little bit of a, it's good to look at these things from all the angles because there's a little bit of a kind of a wobbliness on the edge over here. And I know that hard surface stuff, there is no wobbliness. So just want to make sure it's kind of nice and smooth. And it looks like it's fine. Just a little bit of minor adjustments here. And now that I'm happy with it, I'll just go ahead and accept the dynamic subdiv. This brush size is really big, make it smaller. Dynamic subdiv, apply, there it is. And now I'm just going to go ahead and just give it a little bit of smoothing on the side just so I don't have those harsh edges. And I did give it 3 subdivisions, so it should be pretty smooth. Here we go. That works. All right, I think that will be fine, and then I'll put some things to kind of hold it in place afterwards. Now another thing I also want to do is that this thing is going to be sitting inside of the helmet. So what I want to do is I want to lift the helmet up, and I'm going to try and see if I can do that. There's different ways of doing it. What I'm going to do is try and see if I can just brute force it. I'll start with that, and if that doesn't work, I'll kind of think of maybe some other ways of doing it. So here, just use Damien Standard, and I'm going to turn lazy mouse on for this and take that lazy radius up. And I'm also going to turn my lazy snap on, and I'm doing all these in the corner where my head is. Sorry about that, but basically it's just this is lazy mouse and the stroke. Yeah, so here lazy mouse, I'm basically upping the lazy radius so I have more of a radius for the lazy mouse. And the lazy snap is so that it snaps to where I let it go from. So I'm just going to take that to about 88. And then see here. Okay, so now I'm pushing in, which is not what I want to do. So instead of holding down the Alt key, I'm just going to turn this, change it to Z add. And just kind of do this. Okay, so it's going to be tough to get that corner. I think my lazy radius is way too high. Bring it down a bit. All right, so creating monsters, did that answer your question about how to tame the chaos? Okay, I think this is going to take too long, and I don't know if this is the right approach. Another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to change my glasses and put these ones on because the screen is very close to me. So these glasses are more like for reading, so they'll work better. Now, I wonder if this will work. Let me see. If I mask this, is it going to mask what's underneath? Yeah, it is. I wish there was a way you could mask so that you don't get what's underneath it. And I wish I kept that mask or made a different polygroup with it, but it wouldn't have mattered because I'd redynameshed it anyway. All right, I'm going to try doing this a little bit differently here. And this is probably going to work just fine. Right, I'm just going to do this masking like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and smooth that mask. And then I'm going to grow it out. So I think I've got those over here somewhere. Is it, yeah, boost mask. Let's boost it, get it closer. And blur it. I think I need to grow the mask is what I need to do. So I'll just go to the masking menu and do that. Masking, grow, 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 grow. And then sharpen. I think I grew it too much. So let's see if I sharpen it here. Maybe. There we go. I'm starting to get a little bit of what I want. And I'm going to solo this out. So the inside part got masked too for some reason. I'll just unmask it. I'm going to have to blur and sharpen again, but that's not a big deal. And I probably, there's probably a better way of doing this than what I'm doing, but I'm going to try this and see if it works. All right, so again, blur the mask, sharpen the mask, and then boost it, and then blur it again, and that's kind of good. Let's blur it quite a bit. All right, so now what I want to do is just put my gizmo in the middle of this without symmetry and try just growing. Let's just try moving this up. No, I don't know if this is going to work. Maybe go the other way. Let's see what that's looking like. No, this is not doing it. Actually, hang on. I think I have an idea here, and that is to maybe sharpen the mask a little bit more. And then push this in. Here we go. This works. And then if I bring that other piece down, it works, but it doesn't. Yeah, I should have kept that initial mask. Oh well. I think I'm going to figure out a different way of doing this. Maybe this actually does lay on top of what's underneath, and we'll just kind of go with that. All right, I'm going to, something happened to the move brush. I'm going to just reset it to its normal self. And just bring these down. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another trick. Actually, I don't know why I didn't do that before. There's a really good brush that that Mike had that I bought in the day that does this kind of stuff. Yeah, this might work. This might do it. So I'm just going to do one of these over here. Yep. There. Yeah, this is perfect. That did it right there. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I'm going to do the same thing over here as well. Oh, need to go the other way. laser use just a little bit more. I made my brush way too big. All right. Once again, I'm loving working on a pen display. It's almost like I'm actually working on the model itself. And again, since this is Dynamesh, I can just move it, place it where I want. Something like that. I'll just re-Dynamesh it. Nice. All right. Yeah, I think this is working much, much better for me. Go back to this. And yeah. All right, let's see. I think I will always be comfortable with mechanical parts, but the end is wonderful, and it's one of the workflows that I like the most, so I'll continue practicing. I think that's a good idea. Practice, practice, practice. All right, so I think that worked out really well. I mean, it's kind of a tertiary detail, but for now, I just kind of wanted to get an idea of how to do that. And if I want to continue it on, I can. But that's what's going to happen there. There's a lot of kind of secondary and tertiary detail on here that I'm not really going to mess with just yet. But I would just want to get the gist of this helmet pretty much done. And then there is this kind of outline over here that I want to replicate. So I'm kind of going to think about what the best way to do that is. Wonder if I can do it by there's this kind of thin metal piece that goes around the eye in the reference that I kind of like. So I'm going to try and see what a good way to do that would be. I think maybe I think mask extract could work, but also I'm thinking of maybe doing it a different way as well. I think I'm going to try and see if I can do it with if I can do it with curve tube. That's one way to do it. This might not be the right way to go, but I'm going to give it a try. Curve tube. I think that might work. Right, I just have to be more careful with it. Yeah, that I think might do it. All right, I don't need it to be this thick, but I was using brush size of 1. So I'm going to have to contend with the size. However, I can make it thinner just by, well, first of all, let's accept it. And then I'll just go ahead and go to deformation and inflate it inwards. Let's see if that works. Right, where are we? Okay, display properties, where am I? Deformation. And inflate negative. I think I want to be somewhere around -4. Just type it in. Inflate -4. All right, and now that I have this, I'm just going to move it into place. And to do that, I'm going to use the bend arc here, like so, and just do one of these to it. Bend it this way, and then do one of these where I'm bending it this way. And once I have that, I can just do some minor adjustments. This actually worked out really well. I don't know why. I think I reset my move brush. I don't know why I'm getting a hard edge with it, but I'm just going to make this bigger and also turn on symmetry for it. And I don't know, I think I should separate this out. I think it's in with another subtool, right? Yeah, it's in with this one. So I'm just going to solo this out and say split unmasked points. Right, so now it's its own thing. And I can work on it individually. Oh, well, I guess the rest was masked. I'm kind of freaking out. I freaked out for a minute there because I thought, oh no, did I use the bend dark on the helmet? But it was masked, so that's not going to be an issue. Right, and let's go to W. Let's do that bend dark again on here. Mesh is partially hidden. What part of it is hidden? Oh, why am I on here? Oh, because I did Control Z. That's why. Okay. Delete hidden. So make sure my helmet is still there. It is. And why does the helmet still have that? Okay, I'm just going to say delete mask point, or let's split it one more time. So now I've got two of these things, it's fine. And then I'll just go to the one, solo, bend dark. Right, so this is kind of like aviator glasses type of thing happening with this. Of course, symmetry is not on. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Into place. You know, I've been thinking creating monsters. Another thing you can also do to get good at hard surface is find some hard surface thing that you like, and then try and make it in ZBrush. Like really apply yourself to see if you can actually create it in ZBrush. And you can always ask me questions or ask people questions on ZBrush Central if there's certain things where you're unable to do it, and then I think that will really help you. Okay, well that actually was pretty painless. I'm going to use the inflate brush here just to inflate things a bit, and you can see here that did I not? Okay, so here is a perfect example of something I did not do. I think inflate is what number, brush number 7, 8. It's number 9. Okay, so I didn't have, I have a little express key thing here. I'll show it to you guys. Let me get it out of its thing. So it's this thing right here that basically the things that I had on the radial menu I have on here, and you can see them kind of listed this way. And for some reason, I don't have the inflate brush on there. So let me go ahead and show you how I'm setting that up, because I have to do it. So I don't know why I'm still stuck. That's weird. My mouse is kind of stuck in this window in OBS, and I can't move out of it. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, that's weird. My mouse is just kind of restricted to the OBS window. That's not good. I wonder how I get out of that. Here, let's see if I can figure it out. I mean, this works, right? Yeah, this is working fine. Okay, so why is the mouse stuck in here then? Escape isn't getting me out of it. Let's try and see if Alt Tab will do it. No, I'm still stuck in this window. That is so strange. How do I get out of this? Because I'm not going to be able to do anything outside of this window. Let me just, yeah, it's just as if click and drag to reposition or single click to restore position. Oh, here we go. That's weird. No, it says tutorial view. I think I pressed the button that basically did that. So let's see if I can get out. Oh, yeah, I should be able to move this around. Okay, so that's good. But for some reason, I'm just stuck in this app and I can't get out of it. So I wonder if this is an OBS thing or... Yeah, that is very strange. So let me try and minimize this and maximize it again. Okay, that kind of fixed one issue. But let's see if I can fix the other issue. Yeah, I think it's an OBS thing. I wonder if I pressed some keystroke. That locked me into the screen. All right, well, that's not fun. I might not be able to do the thing I wanted to do, but let me see if there's... I'm trying to look for a prompt or something on the screen that tells me, hey, you know, you need to do this to get out of this mode. Right, there's that. Maximizing and minimizing the screen didn't do it. Yeah, it's some sort of a thing that's locked me into this mode. That's not it. Here we go. I guess this is what I wanted to do. It popped up here, so I can do it. So my quick keys. All right, so here are the quick keys, and these are the kind of the settings that I have for these different keys. And I think select rectangle here or mask pen. One of these I need to change. So I think I'm going to change this one. So I just select it, go to options. Where is it? Why am I not? All right, let's see. I really apologize for this. Again, it's my first time using this thing. So also, I had this as blue. Why didn't it stay blue? And then this one I had red. Okay, so these are the different kind of things that I have for that. And here's this, select rectangle, options. For some reason I can't pull the options down. And yeah, I don't know what is going on, but I'm probably turned on some mode or something that I should not have done. Let me see if I can cycle through these settings. You know what? I'm going to try doing this one thing. Okay, all right, there it is. Express keys and this. Yeah, I should be able to pull these options down, but I can't for some reason. These menus are not pulling down. Okay, no worries. I will deal with this later. Let's continue on with what we've got, and I'll figure out what's going on, hopefully by next time, and get it fixed. Okay, go to my move mask here. I think I might have gone to some sort of a mode where I cannot get out of the screen, like basically just limiting the display to this. I'm going to try one other thing here. If you guys don't mind, you might get a blank screen for a minute. I'm just going to okay. See if that made a difference. I don't think it did. All right, so Mauricio saying, good evening, I downloaded trial version of ZBrush and asked what advice you would give me to learn ZBrush and not die trying. The best thing I can do is tell you to, let me see if I can bring that up somehow, is go to, there's plenty of learning stuff for ZBrush on Z Classroom. So just Google Z Classroom and go to it. I'm trying to bring it up here, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to, just because I'm having this kind of weird issue where I can't seem to be getting out of the one display. It's kind of locked for some reason, and I don't know what caused it. But I think, let's see, yeah. I think I just maybe pressed a button or did something where basically just locked me to that screen. Let me see here, switch display. Do this. Let me see if this is it. Again, you guys gotta excuse me for kind of going through the learning curves of what I got here, because again, I just got it this week and I'm just trying to figure it out. Yeah, I can't seem to be clicking on any of these buttons. I think something kind of is stuck. And I don't know if it has to do with OBS or if it has to do with the display software. So bear with me. I wonder what other... I think I might have pressed a key combination or something that just basically locked me into the screen. All right, well, I think that... locked camera button on the right tray. Locked camera button on the right tray. I don't know what you mean by that. I'm trying to see. It shouldn't. I see what you're saying. No, it's not locked. I don't think it's locked. It's unlocked. Why does your... Okay, so the reason why your mesh looks red is because you probably have in the material, you probably have matte cap red wax, which is this, right? So this is probably why you're just change your material to basic material, and then you can change basic material here, and then you can change the color over here with whatever you want. So basic material is on the normal UI of ZBrush, and yeah. So all right, I'm going to give this maybe another is it the mouse that's causing this? I mean, some software is kind of causing this not to me not to be able to move out of this one display. Somehow it's just locked to this specific display. And oh, you know what? I think I might know what's going on. Okay, that's the pen. I don't want the pen. Let's go to the home here. Pen display 24, switch display, maybe this is it? No. What about reset display? No, I don't want to do that. I think there is a device settings. Here we go. And Display controls. Okay, here it is. Here it is. I think this is it. Yep, fixed it. Haha. All right. I think so, right? No, that didn't fix it. Oh man. Live troubleshooting. Okay, so here we have all displays is on. Here we go. That was it. This setting right here, all displays, was not on. So now I am good to no. So when I have this on, I can go to the other screens. But when I don't have it on, it kind of, here we go. Let's see if this does it. Yeah, it's something I obviously need to learn more about. But here I'm actually being able to go to the other screen. So now that I'm able to do this, I'm going to bring up the controls here and show you how to change it. If you don't mind this yellow box on here, I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to do it, but it's fine. So go to my quick keys. I guess I can't do it. Well, that's there, my quick keys. And go to, I'm going to change the select rectangle here. Or let's just change mask pen. Mask pen, options. I don't know why I cannot pull this down. All right. I think I'm about ready to give up on this. Yeah, this should be pulling down. Here, let me try this one other thing here. What if I close this and bring it back up? Maybe that'll do it. Advanced settings. No, this is the pen controls, and they have some really nice pen controls, by the way. You can adjust the pressure and all that good stuff. I haven't even gotten into that yet, but the thing I want to do here is just go to the device itself, device settings. Okay, this is all good. We fixed that issue. But the thing we wanted to do is go to quick keys here and change this. The ZBrush app. I wanted to change mask pen. Yeah, I don't think it's going to let me do it. I don't know why. I think it's because you guys are watching. Yeah, nope. Well, at least I can move it out and move to the other screens now, so that's always good. We had an autosave there. All right, I'm just going to continue. Sorry about this kind of little bit of a distraction that we had, but obviously I need to familiarize myself a little bit more with the display. But I did set up the quick keys earlier. I just didn't set up the inflate pen, so I just basically have to hit the 9 key, which is what it's set to, and just inflate this a little bit in certain areas to kind of get that even look of it, and just move it back. I'm kind of trying to see how it's set up. I think it's kind of going into a piece that I don't really have yet on the inside of the helmet, but we'll put it in later. Okay, and then I'll have something that basically connects up this part. Another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to change its color. So I'm going to bring up Z color. And maybe choose a different color for that piece that I just added. Maybe this one, and let's fill the object with that. And then let's go back to a different color. How about this one right here? Let's pick this something lighter. Set color. Here we go. All right. Okay, so I just kind of wanted this to be a bit of a darker color. There it is. And I think that piece is done. Let's look at what other pieces we're going to add. I think there's another piece here that I want to add. And I'm going to basically just pull that off of this part. So I'm going to solo that out. And is this my mask? No. Okay, so you can see how the regular mask it basically will mask based on pressure. So I'm going to go back to my mask here, K-mask, and this one, you can see it doesn't do that. So basically what I want to do here is just pull off a piece. It's going to be something like this. And maybe not so close together. Something like that, right? So now just go here and extract Pro, and there's that piece. And of course, the resolution on it is pretty dense because it's trying to mimic what's underneath it. I don't really need that type of resolution. So I'm just going to zero mesh it down a bit. Yeah, something like that is good. And now I can kind of manipulate the edges of it. So let's bring everything back. And what I like about Extract Pro is just basically just puts it as a separate subtool. And then we're just going to go to the Move tool here, turn on AccuCurve, and then start pulling this piece. Oops. Out. And again, I might have to figure out how to do this with a keyboard because, again, this is, I just basically set this up on my desk with a arm, and I'm still trying to figure out the best way to use it. I will have some best practices for you all shortly, but this stream, you kind of have to bear with me as I'm learning the intricacies of how to use some of the capabilities of this device. However, I just have to say that just working with it on the screen is really nice. So it's worth the growing pains. All right, so now I've got this piece here. Let's see what it looks like. That's good. And what I want to do is just create some thickness for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do dynamic subdiv. And not smooth it, but add a little bit of thickness. And offset it out, maybe a little bit more. Let's see, how much thickness is that? That's too much. Maybe a little bit less. That's too little. Something like that. Let's give it some segments, maybe about 3, and let's go ahead and apply it. So now I actually have a 3-dimensional thick piece over here. That's going to be this piece right there. And I'm going to use, again, the Move brush with AccuCurve turned on to get some angles on this thing. I'm looking at my reference just to see what will work. Maybe something like that. So for those of you that are in LA, in the Los Angeles area, this weekend is the Lightbox Expo, which is a really probably one of the best, besides the ZBrush Summit, of course, is one of the best conferences that happen in the Los Angeles area. It's in Pasadena, and and I will be demoing at the Maxon booth there on tomorrow, on Saturday, and also on Sunday. And I think I demo around 1 o'clock. Let me check the calendar here to see what the time is that I'm doing demos. And I'll be working on this model. Again, I'll be kind of taking it further. However, I will also, 12:30 to, I think about an hour am I doing, or 2 hours? Looks like about an hour. So from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. is when I'm going to be demoing, both days. So if you are at the at Lightbox, come say hi and watch me work live. All right, so I think that's good for this piece. Let's see what other pieces I need to add. There seems to be kind of some other pieces in here, which I could probably use kit bash parts for. There's a piece here on the bottom, so let me go to the skull for that one and solo that out. And there's a piece that kind of goes inside over here. So paint that out. Do the Extract Pro. There it is. And let's go ahead and bring everything back. So just this piece in here, like that. And again, I need to zero mesh this down a bit. Let's see what the topology is a little bit more. There, that's good. Let's bring it out a bit. Something like that. Okay, and now we'll give it some thickness. I'm probably going to write a script or do something to automate this process that I'm doing right here, which will be very helpful. Let's add 5 segments to this one, and you guys will see why in a minute. And let's go ahead and add a little bit more thickness. Not that much. Maybe about there. And let's apply that. Now we have this model. And the reason why I added more segments is because I wanted to indent some of this. I think I added a few too many, but that's still okay. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and polygroup, polyloop. And I'm using ZModeler for this, and I'm just going to group these 3, and then I'm going to QMesh them in. QMesh, polygroup island, and just push these in like that. Right, so this is kind of what I've got going, and then just hit it with a little bit of smooth here. And maybe leave it like that and subdivide it once. Maybe subdivide it without smoothing and then divide it with smoothing, so I get that. And then I'm just going to go to my H-polish. And try and get this shape to work. Right, I think that's good. And I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. So it looks like it's just part of the helmet, like so. Here we go. There, that looks okay. And then just lift up this side. Something like that. Whoa. All right, so we have a whole bunch of stuff in the chat. Let me catch up. Sorry about that. All right, so why am I zero? Okay, right, and then it really helped me with the basics of ZBrush before getting into ZBrush. Okay, the mouse. Okay. That was a mistake. Click happy here. Okay. So ZBrush icon maybe. Okay. Oh, you guys are trying to help me with the thing. Okay. No worries. Or this is something to consider when painting. If a character has blue armor, do I consider colored lighting when painting? For example, if red light, the armor would be desaturated purple. Well, I mean, depends on what you're going to end up in, but yeah, if you want your armor to appear blue, in real life if it is in red light, it will appear purple. That's right. Oh, the reference image? Sure. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so I have, I'm going to admit something here that you guys are going to laugh about. But the reason why I've been having the problem is because I've been trying to go to the right. So when I'm in here, I'm trying to go to the right, and it's basically the mouse is sticking. And that's because before I had the monitors kind of arranged in such a way where if I go to the right, I will go to the other monitor. But what I did is, since I've got a monitor on top of this one, so I had to go up. That was the problem I was having, and I feel like such a bonehead for not figuring that out. But anyway, here is the reference image. Sorry, it's huge because it's coming from a 4K display. Let me make that smaller for you guys. Here we go. So these are the reference images. So this is the image that I'm kind of going off of. Again, these were generated by AI. I don't know the names of the artists, but these are kind of the ones that I gathered to use for this. And as you can see here, I mean, this looks really neat when you first look at it, but as you zoom in, and this is basically the part I was just making right here, but if you zoom into it, like, it's really confusing. Like, none of this stuff makes sense. It's really horrible. But if you kind of just look at it kind of with a squinty eye, or if you just look at it as a whole, it kind of works because AI kind of does that. But then, you know, things don't really work either mechanically or visually once you start to interpret them. So they're great for reference, and they're great to start out from. I kind of like this one because of all the intricacies in here. I'm going to try and match some of that stuff. I like the eye socket on this one. So every one of these images, I like the chess piece here. We're going to go to the chess piece in a minute. So every one of these images I like something from. And all of them kind of have something neat about them. I kind of like the color scheme of this one. But overall, I think AI is good for kind of generating sexy images. But overall, I think, you know, you still have to make it if you want to look at it from different angles, or if you want to use it in some sort of a application, a game, or something like that. I mean, I don't know if AI is ever going to get to a point where that's not going to be the case, but for now, it's like a, you know, it definitely has some promise, but it has a little bit of a ways to go. All right. Hopefully that helped. And then let's see, is there anything else that people are saying? Yeah, you're still asking about lighting. Yeah, it all depends. So, I mean, if I colored this certain color, for example, and had a light that was a different color, the light will definitely make it look a little bit different. It all depends on your final composition. I don't know if you're baking your lights too. I mean, that's a whole other thing. All right, so let's move on to the armor. I think we've spent quite a bit of time on the helmet. It's looking good. I also wanted to remind everybody that I do have a visor as well on this helmet, which is not in the AI image. So I also have a visor that kind of goes and closes it up. So this is kind of how the final thing will look. Of course, the visor will be transparent, but I have it turned off because of all the intricacies and things I'm going to put in here. All right, so let's move on to the chess piece here. I'm going to go and bring that up in my reference. And see if I can get the pieces going. I think I got quite a bit of it done last time, but let's work on it some more today. So I spent about maybe less than an hour on the helmet, but I'm going to spend the rest of the time on the costume and the body, and maybe create some armor for him. All right. So this piece I kind of was working on a little bit. I'm going to give it one subdivision level here, so it's a little bit smoother. And then I'm just going to go to H polish. And polish it up. Okay, so this is kind of going to be a buckle, and I'm going to do a nifty little trick here, and that is to put a ring around this. So I'm just going to basically find a good edge loop for this, Sheet 1, let's pick this one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say polyloop, or polygroup polyloop, and I'm just going to loop this one. Okay, I think that's a good one, maybe this one right here. Okay, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put a curve at the end of this. So I don't really need the other polygroups, so I'm just going to go ahead and say polygroup fill, and I'm going to fill this one. Let's say this color, this one, that's all good. And then same thing with the bottom. I'm going to solo this so I can get the inside ones as well. All right, and there. Okay, so now I've got just 2 polygroups, and what I want to do here is I want to change this to a different, polygroup polyloop. I'm going to change this one to 1 polygroup, not that color though. So I'm just tapping Alt, and then this one to another one. And what I want to do, what I want to get out of this is I just want to get a curve that kind of goes around this polygroup here. So I'm just going to go to stroke and curve functions, and I'm just going to say give me, maybe I could have creased it. That would have been easier. All right, let's do that. I'm just going to crease this polygroup right here. Edge, crease, edge loop complete. I think that'll be easier for me. That way I don't have to undo different things. Right, and then I'm just going to go ahead and say frame mesh. So then I basically just puts a curve around here like that. And then I'm just going to go to my curve tubes, and let's minimize the brush to size 1. Just click. Oh, this thing has multiple subdivision levels. We have to freeze them. Okay, not a problem. I can do that. Tool, geometry, freeze subdivision levels, and now I can just pop that, and I get this, which is what I wanted. I want it to be thinner, but that's fine. And now I'm just going to go back to did it do it on both sides? It did. All right, that's good. So I'm just going to accept that. I'm going to split unmasked points. So now I just basically have that as a separate subtool, which is this one right here. And what I want to do is I want that to be a little bit thinner. So it's kind of cool because it creates this effect, but I don't want it to be this thick. So I can just go and inflate it in a bit. So I'm just going to use my handy dandy menu over here and inflate it down to maybe about there. There you go. And also I just want to make it a little bit bigger. I think a good way to do this is just to center the gizmo. And I'm going to turn on local symmetry. See if this does it. And let's see what that's doing. Yep. It is doing what I want, but I don't want dynamic on. I want this to happen right here. Okay, and then once I got that, I'm just going to lift it up. Actually, it's good where it is. Right there. All right, done. So I just basically created a frame for that. And the thing is, you know, if I want this to be kind of separated out, I can just insert these parts in here, which is what I'm going to do. But I'm also going to inflate it just a bit. It's a little bit too thin. Maybe about there. That's good. And then what I'm going to do is I think here we go. This is what I want to do. There. Perfect. All right, so now it's kind of some sort of a thing that he uses just to kind of open up this piece over here. All right, and then let's go ahead and create some straps to do that. Again, I'm going to use my handy dandy way of doing it with masking. So here's going to be, okay, so this is basically his suit. And I think his suit is pretty low res, right? Yeah. Does it have subdivision levels? It does. I can pump that up. Actually, I'm just going to create a copy of it. Duplicate. And on this duplicate, I don't really need the dynamics, so I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to pump up the subdivision levels to something like this, so low. All right, and then I'm going to turn transparency on so I can see it underneath. Then just go ahead, let's turn on symmetry. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint where the straps are going to be on this. Right here. I want the straps to go this way. And come down. Like that. So I think I'm kind of getting this a little bit more messy here than I want. And let's see here. I'm trying to figure out what a good pattern for these straps is going to be. Yeah, I'm just going to turn this off. Again, what's really nice about this, and I didn't realize that there was this, is that I think this is polygrouped. It is. So I don't really need the arms for this. So I'm just going to take off the arms. Oh. And I don't really need this bottom part either, so all this can go away. All I need is just the chest part, so I'm just going to delete hidden. And just work on the chest part for the straps. Unsolo them. That's good, and then solo it again. And now I just have to figure out what a good kind of pattern would be for these. Maybe something like that. Again, this is really a dream to be working on the display directly. Wow, I can't believe I've been missing out on this whole time. I think Cintiqs were kind of price prohibitive for me when I started, so I never kind of always thought, hey, you know, I don't have the problem of the disassociation, so maybe I'll just kind of stick with it. But I really, I must say, I'm really enjoying working this way. All right, I think this is kind of a nice pattern on the back. And in the front, it doesn't really matter. But I want to make these a little bit longer so I can kind of put them places later. Like that. Okay, that's good enough, I think. So let's go ahead and peel those pieces off by using our Extract Pro. And there it is. Nice. Okay, I mean, I think there's a little bit of kind of this weird funkiness over here. Let's turn double on so I can see the inside. And that's good. Let's go ahead and zero mesh this down a bit. Maybe even further. Even more. Nope, that's too much. I think this is good right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do some group loops around here. So let's go ahead and add 2 loops. That's maybe not good enough. I think I don't want to do any polishing, so I'm going to turn polish to maybe 2. And let's just add 1 loop for now. There it is. Okay. And then let's go to that, and now I'm going to zero mesh it, but keep the groups. Let's see what we get from that. One more time. I'm getting some weird artifacts over here, so I'm just going to group loop, or I'm going to group this all together. So Control W does that, and then let's do 1 more group loops here. just to get that outside edge. It's getting that little bit of polish, but it's fine. I can fix this way. Let's see what that looks like on the model itself. So I don't really care about this piece anymore, and I don't really need to see things in a transparent way. So there are the straps, and then let's just move it into place. All right, let me just take a quick look here to see if there are any comments. My blockout process, yeah. I mean, if you go back and watch the first 3 episodes of this stream, you can see it. And also, I have all my streams are all on YouTube on the Maxon channel. So if you, I think it's maybe still called the Pixelogic channel. I'm not sure. But here, let me pull it up for you guys. Where are you? Here we are. Okay, so a couple of things. I guess this is a good time to talk about all this. Is that if you want to see my work, it's on my Instagram, has my latest stuff. I do all sorts of stuff. I do some ZBrush work right here. I do some environment work as well. I've done some AI work as well. It's kind of fun, but I'm kind of getting bored of it. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because you can go to my website. Oh, this is my Gumroad, sorry. You can go to my website, kermaco.com, and that has some of my work if you're interested in seeing it. But if you go to YouTube, and let me get that for you guys. If you go to YouTube, and I'll give you the link in a minute, and go to the, I think it's still called the Pixelogic channel. I don't know if they changed it yet. Yeah, I think it's just called Pixelogic ZBrush. It's this channel right here. So it's, whoa, where did you go? Here it is. Okay, and it is, it's youtube.com/@pixelogiczbrush. And if you go there and if you click on live, that has all of the videos on here. So it has my videos as well as videos from a lot of amazing artists that you can watch. Maybe, you know, the type of work I do is not of interest to you, but you like stylized stuff or jewelry or food. Well, there's a whole bunch of different types of videos here. And if you do a search by my name, you can find all of my videos and then watch them. So as soon as I'm done with this, it'll be on there. It'll be on the YouTube channel, which is kind of cool. So yeah, you can go back and watch it. But yeah, my block out is basically pretty simple. I start out with as simple geometry as I can, and kind of get the general shape, and then start working on the secondary shapes, and then the tertiary shapes to get what I want. Right. So here I'm just basically making the straps, and that's how kind of easy it was to do that. And then here I'm just going to go in again, same thing, dynamic subdivision, no smoothing, but some thickness. Let's offset it out. Let's add maybe 1 segment this time. I don't really need too many segments for this. And I don't really need much thickness for this either, but I'm actually going to add the thickness, and I'm going to keep it this way. I'm not going to apply the dynamic subdivision until I'm completely done with the straps and moving them into position. So here we go. All right, that was that. And then I want some armor pieces on the arm. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go to that model that I had. So this one I don't need anymore. I'm just going to delete it. So delete. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the suit that I have. Duplicate that again. Okay, and then with the duplicate, I'll go to subdivision level. Let's go to 3 here. And I want to delete the higher and lower subdivision levels, so I just have this subdivision level. And what I want to do is I want to create some kind of armor pieces on the arm. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and let's turn symmetry on. I'm just going to go ahead and mask that area out that I want the armor piece to be at. Something like this. And do you want it to go over the shoulder, or just kind of like that is fine. Thing to note here is that this is not symmetric. Left to right, you can kind of see with the folds here, which is fine. I can always mirror and weld it later on after I pull it out. Here we go. Something like that. And it's pretty blocky, but I don't really care because I can fix all that later on. So there it is. Again, I'm going to use my handy dandy Extract Pro. Bam, 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 bam. And I have my armor pieces. I'm going to keep that old thing that I had. Let's go ahead and take a look at this again. The zero mesh is pretty dense. I'll go ahead and zero mesh it down a bit, maybe to about there. And then I'll use the move brush with AccuCurve just to get some harsh corners on this. Right, and let's go ahead and take a look at that in context. Again, I don't really need to see this thing, but I need to see the actual clothing underneath. And here I'm just using the move brush just to kind of move this out like so to get that general shape of it. I'm just going to move my move this chat window over so I can see it. Okay. Let's see. Oh, no, I don't want it to be there. Joe totally messed up the chat window. Sorry. What are my thoughts on AI generated stuff? Well, I think it's really cool technology. I think it's kind of neat that you can just type something in and then get a compelling image. I think that's kind of cool. However, what I don't think is cool is that a lot of these companies are not asking the artists that they are taking their, that they're training their models on. They're not asking the artists for permission. I don't think that's cool, and I don't think they're giving the artists any residuals. So, you know, you can type in, the, you know, make work like this artist's work, and then you get an image that looks like that artist made it, and that artist that whose style that is mimicking gets nothing from that, and I think that's not cool. So I think it's in its infancy. I think there's a long ways to go. The genie is out of the bottle, so I don't think it's going to go away. But I think that with some of the action, the legal action that's being taken, maybe there will be a way for artists to get some sort of revenue or recognition from the technology. Because right now they get nothing. And I've seen AI work everywhere now. I've seen it on album covers. I've seen it on, I just remembered an SNL skit. I see it on videos. I just watched the latest Duran Duran video that's using it. The intro to Marvel's, the last kind of show that they did had the intro done by AI. So I'm starting to see it everywhere. So it is prevalent. However, again, it is definitely not ideal for them to just be using artists' work and styles and not paying them for the benefit. But that said, it's a lot of cool stuff. And then there is some new AI. There are some new AI tools that you can just give it a drawing and it will, excuse me, render it for you. Viscom is one of those tools. Some of my artist friends are doing that. So basically, it's their drawing, but they just feed it to Viscom and it generates a specific type of image for them. But again, the thing I worry about the most with AI is that it's good enough, and it's good enough for people that don't really that are not artists. So business-minded people, revenue-minded people might, think that that's good enough, and if they do that, then artists will not get paid, and that's kind of what I worry about. But I think AI is going to really, find itself in a lot of different tools over time. And it's just like everything else, robotics is a big deal, but we still, we have some, the US robotics stuff is really cool. The walking dogs and all that. And they do some great stuff, but it's still a ways to go until they're, C3PO and those kinds of things. All right, so now that I have this, I'm going to go ahead and add some thickness to it. So yeah, I think AI is interesting. I'm definitely intrigued. I've used it quite a bit to make stuff, and I think it's something that you can't ignore. But hopefully the ethics catches up at some point or another, and I'm really being hopeful there, because historically it hasn't worked out that way. All right, so here I'm just going to go ahead and delete some polygons. To create this little lip here. It's too much. All right, that's good enough. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and apply this. So now I've got a three-dimensional piece, and then I'm going to go ahead and subdivide it without smooth ones, and then subdivide it with smooth ones, and then turn off polyframe so I can see what this looks like. And this looks okay. I think I'm just going to want to have it be a little bit bigger. A lot of artists work on a lot of things nowadays that I think AI will replace. So I think there's going to be a lot of artists that do certain things that are going to be out of a job. And I feel really bad for that. I think that's the part of it I don't like. But, it's not just artists that it's threatening. There's, a lot of kind of writers. There was a writer's strike here in LA, and there were some issues that writers had with AI-generated scripts and whatnot. And they wanted to make sure that it doesn't really take writers' jobs away. And unfortunately, artists don't have that kind of a strong union yet. But there are artist associations that are on it. So again, this Lightbox Expo that I'm going to, I'm sure it'll be a big topic, and it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that and what the latest and greatest opinions are. All right. Yeah. That's a good point that you mentioned. About Nightshade, yeah, I did hear about it. That's kind of cool. So, but, you know, I mean, who knows? Every time something like that comes out, you know, it's a matter of time until somebody figures out a way around it. The economic benefits are way too big, you know, so. I think the technical issue is not the big problem. I think it's the ethical and the legal issues that need to be solved. The technology will just, you know, take off. All right. Just kind of trying to get an interesting silhouette here with this. I think I went a little bit too overboard with this kind of part here. I think this is good enough right there. And let me go to Demon Standard again. It's going to take me a while to kind of get used to this Express Keys way of doing it versus the radial menu, and hopefully the SenseLabs people will have a radial menu implemented soon enough. All right, so that's that piece. Again, this is all primary forms and maybe a little bit of secondary forms. I'm not really putting in the details, but once I do, it'll really jump out. Okay, so what about, let's see, I'm kind of looking at my reference here, and I think I'm going to add some sort of a thing in the middle here. And I don't know if I can pull it out of the background, so I actually have to build it. So let's see if I can do that with this. I'm just going to find a piece that I like the thickness of. Maybe, I don't know, let's go with this one right here. So I'm just going to select this piece, and then I'm going to use Lightbox to do this. So I'm just going to comma, go to Spotlights, not Lightbox, but Spotlight. And let's go ahead and take a look at these ones right here. And I wonder if there's a, since my screen is small, this thing's kind of coming up outside of the display. So I'm going to select all of them. Let me do this again. See if this works. I guess no, I guess it's just going to select one. Will this do? No, it just will resize one of them. Is it? Oh, maybe it's that and move it. No. Here we go. This is what I need to do. It's been a while since I've used this, so I'm refamiliarizing myself with it. All right, XF, okay, and let's just kind of make this smaller. And what I want to do is I want to kind of create a piece that kind of goes down here in his midsection. So I'm trying to see what piece can work for that. And again, it doesn't have to be a single piece. I can mirror it over. I think maybe this one right here. I'm just going to hit X again, pick that one, move it over, resize it. And maybe rotate it. That might work right there, like that. Okay, so I'm just basically going to go ahead and do a create 3D object with it and hide all this, and now basically have a 3D object. Of course, it's too thick. Make it thinner and just bring it forward. This is a really great way to kind of create pieces, and let's take a look at it. It's a little bit too thick. I can make it thinner. I should have done that in here. I'll just delete this one and do it the way I want to do it next. Okay, that's fine. I don't need it. And let's bring this back. And what I want to do is just create an outline. And let me remember which one of these was that. I think it's this one. Yes. Okay. I just want to do an outline. I don't want the whole inside part. I just want this to be kind of like that. And let's go ahead and regenerate this as a 3D object. There it is. And the initial piece and then make it thinner. There we go. So I just want this kind of to be here and maybe like somewhere around here. And then I'm just going to mirror and weld this. So nope, that's not what I wanted. How about that? No, it's going to do it where it is. Do I have local symmetry on? I do. Okay, so fix it. Here we go. That's what I want, but a little bit more. That's about what I thought I wanted. Let's see, maybe a bit more. Just need to go this way. Here we go. Activate symmetry. I think maybe this works better. Something like that, thinner. And now I want this to conform to the body, so I'm going to use another trick to do this. Let me solo this out. And what I want to do is just take this outside part and then delete the rest. And with this, there's a couple of ways I can do it. One of them is to use the cloth way of doing it. And the other one is to use this brush called Match Move, I think, or something like that. Actually, I have it in my brush set here. I think I do, don't I? I guess not in this one, but I definitely will have it in this one. Where are you? Here it is, Match Move, this one. So what Match Move will do is I just basically make a big brush size and I just go over it and basically just snaps it onto the surface. Now the problem is that this edge over here is kind of going off of it, so I'm just going to have to move these in just a little bit so I've got all the borders within the mesh behind it. Maybe make them a little bit smaller as well. Okay, and now if I use that Match Move brush, it will go ahead and I just have to pick a really big brush size and just do that. And notice that that just basically matches it to the surface. Something like that. That's good. And I'm just going to re-dynamesh this. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to add a group loops to it. Just add an edge loop on the outside. Let's add 2 loops, no polish, and no triangles. There it is. And now I'm just going to re-dynamesh this. Or re-zero mesh it and keep the groups. Let's see what we get. That's good. And then let's go ahead and go to half. That's even better. And one more time. Okay, that's good. And then now we can just add dynamic and thickness to it. And we are going to not use the smoothing, but that's good right there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and accept that, just like it is. And so now I've just created these kind of pieces that go on the body. I'm using the wrong direction here. And so these just kind of will sit on top of the on top of his suit and kind of be you know, let's see. And then we can probably create some sort of buckle or something that goes over here for it. What happens with this method is like this edge is kind of a little bit too peaked. And so I can fix that with just clip curve. I should have done that before I added thickness. So I'm just going to go back to where I don't have thickness and do that here and then add thickness after. Okay, there it is, and then I'm just going to zero mesh it again. There we go. Oh my gosh, I just looked at the time. I can't believe we're almost done with this episode. All right, zero mesh it. Okay, yeah, there we go. And thickness, set out this way. It's too much. About there. That's good. See how much you can push this in. That's good enough right there. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply this. And that's what it looks like. And then I probably will have a buckle that goes this way, and then maybe some straps that go in the back. But I can do that next. All right, to add the buckle, I'm going to use the exact same method here. I'm just going to go to Lightbox, and let's go with these ones for now, and X, and resize. Let's move this over to here. This is not the one I want. How did I do it? I just did it, and it worked. Let's just do this one more time. Lightbox. This are actually, let's do these ones. And it's not the one I want. How did I do it? I just did it, and I can't remember how. Here we go. This is how I did it. All right, so let's see. There is one that will work over here. Maybe this one right here. Yeah, let's use that one. So we'll just go ahead and get that. And what we're going to do is just kind of put it over here and get the size we want. So let's say this is going to be a buckle that's going to be like maybe about that big. It's going to go over here, and then let's go ahead and generate that as its 3D object. Get rid of all this stuff, and yeah, there we go, a buckle. And just make it thinner, move it over. I know you guys are asking questions. I'll be with you in a second. Let me just get this thing done here. Maybe something like that. That's good. Let's activate symmetry. And I can maybe modify the shape of this to work more with kind of what we got going. There. Okay. And let me see here. The circle menu is built in. Yeah, that's Spotlight. So basically, if you just hit comma or go to your Lightbox, there's the Spotlight menu, and then there are all of these spotlights. There's the basic one, I think, which is this one. Yep, and so there are these ones, and you know, these I think are the ones that Maxon or in the day Pixelogic did, and I also I gave them to include in ZBrush, which they graciously did. So these these 4 AK ones are mine, or I shouldn't say they're mine, but they're ones that I created. So yeah, and you can just double click on one of these and it gives you all the shapes, and then you can just move these shapes to where you want them to be, and then just resize them to whatever size you want. And then if you click on this button over here, it will create a three-dimensional object. Now there's so many other things you can do in here, and you can also add your own object in Spotlight. This was one of the coolest features that they added in ZBrush, and I use them all the time. Here I'm just going to use a couple of these over here this way. And you can also, you know, do all sorts of things here, like you can scale them. So if you want this maybe to be a bit longer, You can kind of create multiples, like if you want 2 or 3, you can do that. There's so many different cool things you can do, and you can do the thing I did earlier, which is basically if you want just to be a border, you can do that as well. But yeah, it's super useful. So now I'm just going to go do that, and then it's a great way to just go ahead and add different pieces to your model. And I want this to maybe be like down here somewhere. Maybe like that. And I don't see too many artists using this, which is a bummer because it's really super useful. But yeah, this kind of can go over here like that. And there we go. I'm having a hard time with positioning this, but I think I got it. There we go. This kind of goes maybe over here like that, and then I'm just mirror and weld it to the other side, so there's a duplicate of it. And again, I'll be adding details to these shortly. Symmetry, and of course I can always modify them as well, so I don't have to use them exactly the way they are. So here I'm just kind of changing their shape a little bit to just kind of be maybe something like this. I think the geometry is way too much for this, but I can modify it. So I think it created a pretty dense mesh, but it's fine. It's working. All right, so, and this maybe kind of gets buried into the suit somehow. And maybe we'll kind of create a thing that kind of goes over it in a minute. So there's that. And I'll just pick the suit here and underneath and just inflate this on top. And I don't have symmetry on the suit, which is intentional because I don't want it to be symmetric. Right, so there, and then go back to this piece, and let's use Damien Standard here to just kind of add a, here we go. To add this kind of little bit of a lip on here. And I can probably subdivide the suit a little bit to kind of add a thing, but maybe, you know, this is kind of like a garter or some sort that connects to it. All right, I think we have about 10 minutes to go, so this would be a good time to ask your last questions. Again, we will continue this further. I'll be continuing it tomorrow at the Lightbox Expo, but I'll be, you know, I'll be, when I get back a couple of Fridays, or a Friday from, not this Friday coming up, but the one after, I will probably, you know, show you guys what I did and maybe do some more work on it. But yeah, I'll be continuing this tomorrow and on Sunday at Lightbox Expo live. So if you guys are in LA and you're at Lightbox Expo, 12:30 to 1:30, come and see me do it. Okay. All right, let's see if there are any questions. Yeah, it's pretty handy. Spotlight is great. Oh, Roger, you're welcome. My pleasure. Yeah. That's what's great about the ZBrush community is we all contribute and we all benefit from the stuff that we do. So that's why I really love ZBrush. All right, there it is, and there it is as well. All right. This is turning out to be completely different than what I started out with, but it works well. I'll maybe put another buckle in here as well later on, but this is coming along pretty nicely. I don't know how long it's been since there's been a quick save, so let me just do a save. I don't want to lose all this work. All right, well, for kind of, you know, doing this new setup that I have, this actually worked out pretty well, guys. I'm pretty, I was kind of a little bit worried today that it would not have gone as well as it did, just because I have the new pen display, which is working out great. And I also, you know, just because I have the pen display, I have the desk set up a different way. But again, I had my little bit of a bonehead scenario where I forgot that I had to go up to get to the other monitor instead of like hitting the edge over here with the mouse going like, why isn't it working? So funny. All right. Okay, so that piece is good. Let's see what else can I do in here. I think there's some kind of little grenades and stuff that he's got over here. We'll add those. Again, I'm just going off the reference. And yeah, so I think this is starting to come along quite a bit. And I think we should be able to make a lot of headway on it in the next couple of weeks. And then my goal is to see if I can take this into Character Creator and pose it. So I'll be doing that kind of on the tail end of it. All right, so I think we're kind of getting close to, thank you, Novus, I really appreciate that. And yeah, I guess we'll have to do something in the back here for this tube, maybe create some sort of thing it connects to. But yeah, we're getting pretty close to being done with the secondary forms, and then we'll just go ahead and do some detailing on it, and then assign materials and figure out how to render it. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, you know, considering we just started out with a AI generated head, or influenced by AI generated head, and then we're kind of moving it along to basically be a three-dimensional object, and it could be a game asset or whatever. Okay, so with that said, I thank you all for sticking around with me and watching this live. And also, I'm sorry, I was just looking at the chat to see if there was something else. Yeah, so again, I thank you all for sticking with me and watching this live. I invite you to join me in a couple of weeks as well. And if you're in LA, join me tomorrow and the day after at Lightbox Expo. And wish you all a good day, a good evening, whatever time of day it is where you are. And yeah, happy ZBrushing, and